Okay, this is something that Simon Binnie asked on Facebook, which is he was doing a Thunderbird 3 model and he was just wondering he would unwrap something like this. That's how I've created a quick version this morning. It's not 100% accurate to the actual model on the TV series, but it should be enough to serve as an indicator. Right, so let's jump into it. Basically assigned it straightforward base material, and we go in now. We now need to think about marking seams. So what I would tend to do would be mark seams where I expect there to be text to use in a UV map. So first thing I'd do is I would isolate these bits first, hide them, then just select that, and we can grow it one more, I think, and we can also add that. Then I'll go select the boundary loop and mark them as a seam. Right, and what I would also do then is I'll take that and add those two and mark that as a seam. I'll mark that as a seam, and then select that loop, mark that as a seam, go all the way up to the top where I know I've got a little so again I've got this assigned to a hotkey, which shift quote, and again mark that as a seam. Right, now to start thinking about where else I want my seams, and there's a good place, as is there. Likewise there. Yep. Now I want to mark a seam here. The easiest way to do that is I'll select the actual edge loop of polys, go to boundary and deselect the outer, and that's a quick way of doing it, because if I try to just select there, obviously because it's not a row of polys it wouldn't do it. So I just boundary, deselect, mark seam. So now while they're still hidden we can think about marking the seams on these as well. So what I'll do first is I'll mark seams around the edge of these, using Shift Alt click here to add edge loops, mark that as a seam, and then so I don't end up selecting these accidentally, I'll hide them, so I'm only playing with this section now. And I will take these, mark them as a seam, flip upside down, and I'll take them, mark them as a seam, alright. Now while those other things are hidden, we'll select that, just hide that, and that should be everything. If I go upside down, oh, nope, so I just don't So now I've just got these, and I'll just select a seam on all of these. So that, mark seam. Don't know if I'm going to be needing these, but I'll just do it anyway. Oh. And I'm just holding Shift and Alt when I'm clicking there to mark a seam. Just give me something to rotate around by selecting something. Right, now let's hide them. So again, we're only dealing with, oh, made the mistake of not switching to poly mode before hiding. So you ended up hiding the edges and not them. And again, I'll go into edge mode, mark seams on these. And sometimes it's better to use Control Z when you, especially when you shift clicking adding seams, rather than trying to deselect and getting in a muddle. So like if I accidentally shift click there, instead of then trying to click the same edge and click something else, I can just undo the select of that seam, which makes it much easier. Right, now we want to actually, I'll hide that so I can play a bit better, and we want to select these seams here, and that one, mark them as seams as well. Save it before we go any further. Alright, I think what I will do is I'll just make these slightly prettier by just doing a Control B and adding a couple of loop cuts. So there's no reason for me to do that in this particular instance, but it just looks better. Right, I can select that, hide everything else, because this is the awkward bit really. Go into wireframe mode, switch back to medium point, and what I want to do is I want to select one of these here and select by perimeter, go into edge mode, and using the middle mouse button with B, deselect those edges, mark those as seams. Right, do the same down here, poly mode, select by perimeter, switch to edge mode, B, middle mouse button, deselect those seams, mark those as seams. Back into object mode. Now I want to isolate the inner fin bit for the outer fin bit. And so the easy way there is just to select one of them. Again, perimeter, Control plus, and I'm going to add that and call that fins and assign them. Right. So there's basically the rough seam mapping. Now we want to think about these legs, and they've got a number 3 on them, and there's 3 in the middle. Well, we've already unwrapped that bit, so we're not worried about that. Well, we've marked it for unwrapping. Now we need to think about these. So again, do the same thing. I'm going to isolate it by selecting these poly loops, hide them, then select these middle poly loops and add in fact I'll tell you what I'll do also, just do it that way. Oh. That's better. It's no good just growing the poly loops because of the additional gap there. So looking at that, I think we'll have this one as well. Again, boundary, mark seam. So that's the middle section where the number 3s go done. And that should be that. And that's basically it for marking the seams. Now it's just a question of unwrapping. And to unwrap, what I would do is I use a plugin called Quad Unwrap. I'll try and find the link for it and I'll put that in the description of the video. It's better than using follow quads, it just gives a better result, so I use that most of the time. Again though, it does need you to have an active quad. So if I select that and do L, then and there you get you a nice tidy result in terms of being quads. The same here if I do that. Quad unwrap, then you see it gives a tidy result. So I could select all of these, actually reset them, quad unwrap. Try it then. That's not working. It's not obviously like obviously got to do it one section by one section. And again, oh, quad unwrap. Right. And there we go. Then you just do similar for everything else. So this again. Rotate that by 90 because I know that's where it's got to stay in terms of layout. And obviously there's a certain amount of moving around with UV maps. I presume you're familiar with that. If not, there's plenty of tutorials out there to show you how to manipulate UVs. But basically it's just very similar to moving geometry. You select it and scale it and rotate it, and that'll be how it lines up with the image. So once you've done all your UV unwrapping, you've just got to decide how you're going to texture your object then. So like I'll select that. Now that's given me that error because I haven't actually selected a polygon. So I'll select a polygon, then do an L, reset, quad unwrap, and there we go. Do the same there, select, L, reset, quad unwrap. set Quad Unwrap. Hit the wrong button there. So there's your 3 things, and again do the same sort of thing there. Now these would actually be a lot smaller, so what I'd be inclined to do with these is just first do them, thus, then select them all. And then maybe average island scale so they're all the right size. There we go. And do the same that with this actually. Average island scale. Well, you get the idea. I'm mucking about here and don't really need to. So there's all your UV set up, and then you just a question of applying the necessary sort of texture, and I'd probably be inclined there to assign a texture to them, but copy across the material. So if we go in here, say, and we say we call these the addon material, call this legs decals, assign that. Oh, don't want to do that. We want to deselect the fins, deselect the base material. So let's try that again. Select them, assign that. We can add one and we can call it main decal. So select that, assign that, oh sorry, assign that, copy material, base material, and then this bottom bit, add one, I just call it base decal. And again, paste the material. Then you can just do things like add the black lines if you want. So So select that. And then just add the white. You can see what I mean there about using the Control Z. And add a white material. And then do the same at the bottom. There we go. Gives you something like. Now we could assign that there as well. So there we go. So there's all your materials assigned, but all the ones using red have got the same sort of setup. And then all you need to do then is add the colour over that in order to get the effect. So we could say if we take the base decal, we can add a diffuse. Mix in that. That. And we can use the decals. Right, that's better. And then we can just say go into texture paint mode. And let's just draw a number 3 on this. Full strength. And the curve we will have sharp. Still too big. And texture draw. So there's our decals image. And then if if we go into rendered mode, you can see the decals. And what we do is we just use the mixture of those two colours into the version 3. If you want to invert the colour, then instead of using the colour from that, instead of using the colour from there, oh dear, that's not good. Well, basically, instead of using the colour from there, you could have just made it black. I'm hoping that's enough for you to figure it out, because as you can see, my blender's just crashed. If you need any more info on the material side, do let me know, and I can run through some of the things there. But there are plenty of really good tutorials on doing UV mapping and PBR stuff on YouTube. Let me know if there's been of use, and there goes my work. Sob.